G'day everyone, Alex McKellar here again for the final instalment of our season-long journey through the Skip Barbers. This week, round 12, the final round, sees us at new Streets of Chicago, Circuit Street. Circuit, of course. Challenging layout. You look at the track map and you just think, oh my goodness, what's this going to be like? Right angle, right angle, curvy bit, right angle. But in all honesty, the track itself has a far more character than you might think, despite participation being fairly lousy this week at the end of a bit of a grindy season, to be honest. I managed to grab pole. I was a bit disappointed with my time. Dropped 3/10 in the first couple of corners, and it was kind of like a what could have been. Luke Witten's on the front row with me for Team Milo. Luke's an old stager in the Skippy scene. He's been away for a while, coming back. He's got some incredible pace. So I knew I'd be racing with him at least. The lone Japanese driver in what used to be the skipjack time slot, Masahiro Kubota, with Greg Adams, one of the clowns on the second row. Paul Wilson, one of the SNL regulars in there. Mark Jeffrey, of course, and then sneaking over on the other page, Adam Miles from Miles Head Racing. Of course, he's the car number one and the one to watch in the field, to be honest. Yeah, it could be interesting because he didn't set a time, but he is lightning fast. He's picked up the circuit really, really well. So from pole position, today we will be playing the role of the rabbit being chased by the hound. That is Adam Miles, and the game is how long can we stay ahead in this one. So without further ado, why don't we get underway? Relatively short run down into turn one, and second gear left-hander, and we've managed to stay in P1 for the time being, which is good. I've done quite a few laps here this week, as I have done throughout the season at the different tracks. It's been a real challenge to get to know this circuit. I mean, it's got shades of Belle Isle with the concrete surface, the white walls on the outside, and the real bumpy concrete surface, I should say, too. Had that. It's a bit wider. It doesn't have the same length in the straights, but certainly it has a unique character to it. A bit more elevation changes than Belle Isle does have, of course, and of course the other street circuit we went to this season at Long Beach. And this section through here in the third and final sector, I tell you, you've got to have your guts with you. A little lift through fourth gear down into third, turn in as soon as you dare and try not hit that inside apex curbing, or the apex wall, really. They're all walls here, and similarly here. And I've got to tell you, I haven't really got a handle on this one at all in the week that we've had. This was my third race of the week. I've got one left up my sleeve for tonight, pre-SNL, in my quest to maximise points for the season. With a 2300 strength of field, doesn't matter where I finish in this field, I'm not bridging that gap with Vasco. So we're just racing for the fun of it here, which I've got to tell you, I do enjoy a bit more than the grind for points. Luke made a mistake, and he's just on the cusp of draft there. You can just see at 1.1, I thought, I might actually be able to get away, which would have been a big surprise, because Luke's got some great pace. Has a little mistake in him here and there, but that's the price you pay when you're going so close to the edge, particularly at a circuit like this. And then I made a bit of a whoopsie there, and all of a sudden the numbers go the wrong way, and he's back in draft. So there went that idea. It was a short-lived idea, but an idea it was. And you can see we're on the tail end of lap 2, and down there in P6, Adam Miles is already up 7 positions. See, that's the thing with a field like this, single split racing, as it has been much of the week. Yeah, it's all sorts here. I've seen in the racing that I've done multiple 300 I-rated drivers all the way up to someone like Adam, who's in the 7Ks. I think he's somewhere between 72 and 7300. So it's a real mix of skills, and there's a skill in navigating that too, if and when you come across lap traffic. But you can see there the exits and the straights themselves are very wide. They give you good scope to carry mid-corner speed, and if you can sort of get the turn in right and the courage it takes to go near the apex walls, you can really set the world on fire, so to speak. And I haven't quite got there yet, I have to admit. And you can see Adam, who's now 6 seconds behind us, or just under 5.8 on lap 3. He's one of the ones that has. There's a few folk around who've really come to grips with this circuit very, very well. Now, fortunately for me, Luke, I think, had a similar mindset to me. Let's see Greg Adams in the mirror. He was hanging on 3 seconds behind as Adam makes another position into the braking zone at the end of the back straight. Luke, I think, had a similar mindset to me. I know I was worried about Adam coming through from the back. I thought his pace difference, I wasn't sure if his pace difference was enough, but I suspected it might have been, because it was, as I said, it was only a small field and there was a lot of pace discrepancy between the top and the tail of the field, so I figured he'd be a good shot at catching us. And I think Luke was of a similar mind and was happy to duck in behind and just see how quick we could get flag to flag, with a view to trying to stay in front and maybe save it up for a move at the end. That's certainly what I would have been doing if the roles were reversed, and I think Luke might have had the same idea, because he was certainly patient to this point of the race, although, like I said, almost dropped in from a mistake earlier, but you can see his non-verbal communication there. He moved right out to the left down one of the draft sections of the circuit, although without draft, you don't threaten fifth gear down there, so passing opportunities are really limited to mistakes. You can see there my double dip on the throttle on the exit of the corner counts as a mistake. So we're on Miles' watch. He's actually dropped a second. He's about 7.5 behind on the mid stages of lap 4. Maybe a mistake, maybe needed to get past. Interestingly, Kubota, who was started P3, has dropped 3 spots. I think that was the mistake at the start of the race that cost Greg Adams in P3 the draft. Greg's had really good pace here. He's another one who's grasped the circuit pretty well in its first week here in the series, and I'd suggest to you he's had a really good season. Like, he's knocking on the door of Div 1. Of course, the cutoff for Div 1 is 3,500 I rating, and I think he might even make it based on his performance. And this week I thought was a really good reflection of the effort he's put in this season to improve. He got the handle on the circuit really well comparative to most, and, you know, with all due respect, probably batted a bit above his usual average, and which, you know, you got to think, well, I say that, but then maybe his average has lifted this season, and so maybe that's his new average sort of thing. So yeah, full pump to Greg, who I know would have been disappointed with the incident or the mistake from Kubota early on, costing him the draft, because he, like I said, he's been doing really well here. Meanwhile, we're on the lap 5 now. Miles' watch, he's gained about 3-4 tenths on us in the last lap since we last checked. I'm on lap 5 of 15, so every now and then during the race I was looking at how we were travelling and the gap, and yeah, I can tell you there was probably in clean air at least half a second difference between Miles and I. And you got to remember, he's navigating traffic too. He's up 9 positions as he's just gone past Hurte in the last lap or so. He's navigating traffic and he's still doing faster laps than me. So and I'm sitting here in clean air. I've got a little bit of eye on my mirrors, but the strategy I use in a situation like this, where I know who I'm racing with in Luke, he's made some clear gestures that he's not going to attack too hard unless I make a mistake. And last night when I was doing this, I was very much focusing on getting out of that habit of watching the relative box, you know, the F3 box that has the differential, and you see, oh, did I gain a tenth or lose a tenth in that corner? And oh, it's such a tempting thing to do. You sit there watching corner by corner to see what difference you've made, and it really does distract you from what the task at hand really is. And you can see once again Luke, he's sitting there patiently, and again probably I can only suspect thinking one of a couple of things. Either, you know, oh, has he got a little wiggle on the end of the corner there? I'm wondering. It's very easy to tag the walls here lightly and of course more firmly and have a bigger impact on your race, but looked like Luke did that, because the width on exit here of course is very tempting to get on the gas super early, and it can in a few places push you wide. Here's one of them. In fact, most of the corners you can push wide very easily into the walls if you get on the gas a bit too early. And you know, like I said, because of the width on exits, it's very much easier here than at other street circuits we visit to carry more momentum through the corners, turn in a bit earlier, get on the gas earlier to enforce a bit of understeer so you don't hit the apex, but that, you know, here can then push you wide into the walls. But you can see there's so much room. It's really about finding that knife's edge balance to it. So now Miles has got Greg in the last lap. I know Greg, I was in Discord with him, he made a big mistake. And now, after 6 laps, Miles is back to 6 seconds behind us, just over. So he's got, you know, 9 laps to get us, basically, and the race of the rabbit continues. Oh, excuse me, I just had to sneeze. Yeah, and already, that's nearly 2 tenths in the first sector. A sweeping double right-hander we've just been through. Really cool corner. You can really carry a lot more speed than you think, and certainly I think with another season or two under the belt, I hope to be going, you know, much faster through there and just generally around the circuit. So I haven't figured through there if I want to do first or second. I've been doing first through there to try and get better stability. And certainly there's a bump on exit that can unsettle the car very early on in the stint, in particular where the tyres don't have as much grip as they do in a later part of a stint. You can really loop it there quite easily. Bit of smoke ahead of us, bit of a concern, but we're coming up to our first lap car, which is quite common here. Like I said, because of the single splits and the nature of the circuit being so challenging, and you really are on a razor's edge throughout. Thankfully though, he led us through there at a perfect spot, pushed the button that said thank you. You see again Luke and I trying unsuccessfully to play the role of the dueling rabbits here, as the hound Miles is now just 5 seconds away. So he caught us pretty much a second on that lap, which is, you know, concerning in the context of the race, but concerning in terms of the overall pace that I'm running at, you know. And I'm starting to wonder how patient Luke's going to be. There was actually a couple of times I thought, oh, you know, maybe I'll let Luke go through. Maybe he's got more of a chance. But then I thought, oh, where do you pass here? You know, and if Adam does eventually catch us, maybe he's got to get past Luke. That might be my chance to get away, sort of thing, as I can already start to see Adam in the mirrors. Full pump to Adam though. The pace he has here is pretty outstanding. And there's a couple that we've seen. Leo of Charles was another one. Those two had a couple of races this week. I think Leo showed more this week than any other week in the season how on the edge you are. I think he had a couple of crashes, which is un-Leo-like. One of the quickest guys going around. And in fact, I think I saw a side-by-side battle with he and Adam where that happened. Only purely racing incident. I think it's very difficult to go 2x2 around here, and particularly the places that they were doing it. So as we go through the second gear, turn 1 once again. Managed to get half a gap here. I think Luke, excuse me, Luke made a little mistake in the previous lap, but he was still well and truly in the draft. And I was actually thinking, and I got in my own head a little bit, really, because Adam was now, he only got us half a second that lap, but still, really gets you doubting your pace. Got to be patient on the throttle there as much as you want to get on it early. But yeah, interestingly, I was reflecting on the season a bit this week. It's, I have to say, it's been a real grind. Only doing the 4 races a week, and 4 races a week might be fine if you got a busy work week or whatever. But it's, you know, when you've only got really 2 or 3 races a week where you can score good points, which is the goal this season. Yeah, it makes it really tough because you build up to those races. There's a bit more energy and emotion involved in them. And, you know, I'm thinking back to the Long Beach round where I was in an easy P2. I think it was, might have been, I'm trying to think, Kevin Budgeon who was in front of me, it was, I think. And look, barring mistake, I don't think I was going to catch him. I'd made a little mistake and he got away, and I might have been able to hang on in draft, maybe put some pressure on later on, but I wasn't in draft. And then, no, I think I was in draft. And then a corner not dissimilar to this one out the back at Long Beach. I don't know, lost concentration for a moment and just put it in the wall for absolutely no reason. And that was, you know, that was a couple of 100 points just gone, which, you know, and I've managed to average the 200 points I was aiming for this season per week and a little bit more, which is great. But, you know, I've got that rivalry going with Vasco, and I want to maximise this crack at the points that I'm making this season. And, you know, stuff like that. And there were a couple of instances like that. There was one at Summit Point with Fatini. We had a moment, and I was going to come second in a high soft race, and just reflecting on those sorts of moments, and then you compare it to something like this, which in the context of the type of season we've been going for this time round is really a nothing race. But I changed my mindset here for this one based on the fact that there were no points really, you know, to just going back to having fun. And really the goal here was to stay ahead of Adam, who, as you can see, is hunting us down like the hound that we created the image for at the start of the race. 3.5 seconds with 5 laps to go as we start lap 11. And again, Luke's still sitting there patiently. He was remarkably patient, really, because if he did think he was quicker and he'd made the move, I know for me, I would have given him a few laps at least to see if he couldn't stabilise that gap. So I don't know if he was quicker or not, to be honest. That pace might have been fairly relative or similar. I know he had the benefit of draft, but yeah, I got a lot of respect for Luke and how he drives, and certainly his pace as well. But yeah, look, Adam's catching us. It varies lap to lap, and I think one of his big advantages with his pace is going to be consistency. I certainly don't have that as yet. He's done a lot more races here. In fact, the US guys are putting together what they call a pub crawl. These, of course, are public sessions, and that's where the pub comes from. And they, every Saturday or Friday night their time, they put together a pub crawl. Fantastic name. And they managed to jag a 4,800 strength of field here on Friday night. So I got hope for SNL tonight. That we might see a good turnout, but Adam won that, so yeah, he's no slouch around here. And that time, yeah, look, he's under 3 seconds now with 4 laps to go. And he was catching us anything from half to a full second a lap. And at some point, I know Luke's got to have a look, because, you know, he's not here just to hang around. He's here to win the race. Well, he's here to race and here to win it. So at some point in the next few, he's going to no doubt have a crack, because that's what I'll be doing too, quite frankly. And he's starting to sort of position the car a little differently, get right up close into the braking zone, and, you know, starting to look, and I know I'm pretty confident, as any racer would, he's starting to size me up. Where can I look? Where can I have a go? And you see, look, the car comes out and he has his first tentative show of the nose and pulls back in behind. I left the door open. He wasn't there and made a wise decision. He was close, but not quite there. Love that corner. You come down into the braking zone. As the suspension compresses, you crank it the right hand down and turn in, and it gets so much more grip as the suspension loads up. It's a lot of fun. This corner is exhilarating too. You just get the car straight in time to break down all the bumps, and then you just fling it in and hope the thing sticks. It's a lot of fun. Like I said, this track, having on paper, looks so bland, but to drive actually has far more character than it might otherwise first appear. Adam's done a full second quicker than us that time round. So he's now 1.98, 1.9. Oh, as I kiss the wall, there's a big problem for me, because that's going to put Luke right on me, and immediately I move to the right to signal. I've got to be honest, that's my typical line anyway, but I knew he'd be close, and I knew I'd have to defend this time round. Or at least I thought I did. But no, he's hanging back still. But that was really costly. That was about 3/10 out of the small gap that we had left. And Adam is now looming large in the mirrors in the blue and yellow car, after having set the fastest lap last lap and being a full second quicker than us. The hares are being run down by the hound. Every time I say the hound, I think of Game of Thrones. The hound from there. Anyway. I suppose it's still and you see what I mean about pushing and the accelerator a fraction early and just tagging the wall on the exit of some of the corners. Didn't even get a 0x for that, I don't think. Very easy to pick up 0x light contact incidents, which don't really count for anything except in validating your time trial lap or your qualification lap, so be careful around that. Adhere in other street circuits. One of the characteristics of street circuits, of course. And now Adam, where is he? He gained a full 8/10 that lap, 8 or 9/10, because of the mistake I made, or the 2 mistakes I made that lap. The pressure is starting to tell. So he's in draft, he's in Luke's draft, and you can see fully formed yellow nose cone of Adam Miles in our mirrors. Now, this is the second to last lap. Luke's really closed up, and I move straight over to the right to defend. He's keeping me close. It's starting to drift, so I start to drift out a little bit more. He's right beside me. Goes into 5th. Interestingly, you could hear the change in note, and then bang. Oh, a little clip. Oh, and then I clip the apex. It's all on, and that brings Adam right into it. And in fact, Adam, he looks like he's holding back, and now I've gone defensive again, and Luke pulls back. So I move over to the right to take the line, and then Miles goes through on Luke Witten, and so it's now Adam in the P2 and Luke out the back. Luke apologised over the radio, and unfortunately I had my microphone muted at the time, because I just turned Discord off while I was concentrating for the last little bit, and I forgot that it mutes my microphone. So I said to Luke, oh yeah, no worries, and all this shit, but I didn't realise till after the race. Anyway, we're bound to pressure now. The hound has well and truly engulfed the first rabbit. It's now this little green rabbit being chased, and the big number 1 blazoned on the bonnet, standing out in the mirrors as we go through the final corner for the penultimate time. Where's he going to attack? Is he going to be into turn 1? I hold my line and he holds station, so it's not going to be at turn 1. I moved over once I was confident he wasn't going to go, although I wasn't entirely confident as he closed right up into the braking zone. Is all the exit there? Is he going to look at turn 2? No, not a smart place to look because you've got all this draft coming up. Better time round there, but not good enough. So straight away over to defend. Down the first of these two. Wow, it's hard to call them long straights. And he moves to the left side immediately. Move out to give him a car width on the outside. Give him the room on the outside still. Compromise my own run though, which means that he's going to be coming hard now down into this. I'm going to say it's probably the primary passing opportunity. Again, I start to drift a little bit over once I'm confident he's on my outside, and then his nose is just to head into the braking zone, but I've got the inside line now. Leave enough room on the outside, but it compromises my exit enough such that he's right up beside me. Luke moves up the inside to have a look, and I had to see this corner, but I didn't want to give away two. I thought I'd come back at him here. And I got the wheel just up the inside, but not enough. I had to see the corner. Adam left room beautifully, but he's through. The hound got through. I'm thinking, how do I attack? Have I got anything left for him? I don't know. And he just pulls away. Look how brave he is through that section. And realistically, I think at this point I even said over the radio, too fast, too good. And it's interesting, you know, that good here. The difference, look, Adam's quicker than me pretty much everywhere, in all honesty, but I've got to tell you, it was pretty frustrating to be beaten like that. I hope you enjoyed it, Adam, because, yeah, I can't say I didn't enjoy it, but I didn't enjoy it as much as you, but I bet. Very satisfying victory, I have no doubt, for Adam at the end of that one. Still, I got to tell you, that was fun. Even if it was frustrating. So let's go take a look quickly at the results, and we'll have a look at that last couple of laps and what have you as well. Excuse me. So Adam, he made all those 12 positions, and really talk about a climactic finish, right? Last lap, last sector and a half, and he comes through and wins it by about half a second. Luke, my sparring partner in this one, finishing in third, Hurte in fourth, and Kubota came back for fifth. Greg, unfortunately, down in sixth. I don't think he lost too much, and not representative of his pace here this week. Wilson and Jeffrey down in seventh and eighth behind him. And that's, yeah, that was about that. Now, let's go back a little bit and see those moves. Actually, I want to go back, and I might go the far chase view. We might go in a little bit on that. Oh, no, that's not what I wanted. Oh, actually, yeah, just go in a little bit. There we go. We might go back. Yeah, there we go. I want to see this lap and see, is this where Luke has a look, and what does it look? Yeah, so this is where Luke has his look. Just want to make sure we left enough room. So coming down into the, so I've left, oh look, I've left way too much room on corner entry. I could be an easy car width over, but I wasn't sure where he was. I probably should have used my look left button more effectively. So we come in, I'm very narrow. Luke's, oh look, he's right on the edge. You can see the wheel work there. And I've left enough room, plenty of room, plenty of room. The gap's closing, but it's, oof. I want to say, so there's two things going on. The gap's closing between he and I, but he's also carried a fraction too much in and clipped the wall. And still, oh no, there's actual contact there. I thought it might have been net code. I'll tell you what, I haven't left him much room, and there's a real risk there. And that's an experience with the track too. Those tyres protrude more than I would have expected. So I think, yeah, he's overshot, but I think I'll need to leave more room there next time. And partly that's my narrow entry into the corner pushing me wide. That's also trying to defend. He's got a better run there, but yeah, Could have done better. Could have, should have, would have. Now, this next one, let's see how we go. So the next time round, so Adam's going to, we're into the same place. Adam's alongside. I think that's fair. That's fair. He backs out of it. I think it narrows so much, and that's what happened to Luke there. It narrows so much. Now, he's now got the corner well and truly open. See his line versus mine now. I don't think I chopped him there. I think it's okay. I think he just backed out and it wasn't on. But you can see I could have moved over again a Carla width to the left to try and get the better run out, but he's done exactly that. And you can see the way better run he's got. So I stay defensive, start to move left to right, to open up the corner. And you can see he's half a car length into the braking zone and I'm nowhere. And then I've had to slow so much on that compromise line. He's already on the gas. Oh, I left him room, but he's given the wall a little nudge. That was half a chance because that'll slow you down. And then you see Luke pull across, maybe trying to sneak up the inside as well. My view on that is you're probably better taking the racing line and trying to come underneath me and follow Adam through that way because you get better mid-corner speed. But then you can see, yeah, I've just got nothing. I tried to come back underneath, but couldn't quite get the drive there, and I backed out there. I've had too many times I've tried to hold that and I've caused an accident, so I backed out. Anyway, well played, Adam. That was a fantastic drive, and I hope next season when we're back here, I can be a bit more of a challenge. What's going on here? Anyway, let's look at a couple of things as we wind up the season. So. First off, for this race, as you can hopefully see, there we go. 2300 strength of field. I got 9 I rating for finishing second. Adam got 19 for finishing first. Such is the nature of these things. The all important points, 124. And as I said, even if you win this one, there's no points in it really. 136 for winning it. That's it's more about the racing than it is about the points at that stage with this kind of strength of field. But now, drum roll, please. Oh, I should have thought to do a drum roll. Season tally. There it is. Now, there is a small risk that I'll do the warm-up race tonight for Sunday Night Lights, and there is usually a good strength of field there for that. But can I tell you, you could see the difference in pace there between Adam and myself. So there'd need to be a lot of luck for me to get points. I think I need, so what's the difference there? 17 points. I'd need close to 200 points to drop my worst round. That's counting as points at the moment to beat Vasco. And that's assuming he doesn't get any more points as well. So for now, we're going to say P5 is probably where we're going to finish. So if I look in the context of the season goals, 1,600 points was the goal. Tick, 1,600 points is 200 points a week. Over the 12 weeks, where 8 weeks count for drop rounds. So we've done that, and we've exceeded that really, really well. In fact, if we'd only done that, we wouldn't have reached our stretch goal, which was P5 in the top 5. I guess the tertiary goal on top of that was to win the ANZ Championship and beat Vasco, but I don't know that that's going to happen. But look, 2 out of 3 ain't bad, right? So really pleased with the outcome in terms of the efforts. Am I 5th fastest driver in the world? Absolutely not. You can see that on display tonight or today with this one with Adam and the difference in pace here. Yeah, there's some contributing factors to that here at this circuit, but overall I think certainly Adam and the top 3 are in a different league. Vasco and I have our moments where one's on top of the other. Frattini's returned. He's probably got pace on me as he gets his legs underneath him. Yuan-Si goes really strongly as well. Like, so there's anyone, and Leo, of course, down there in P17 who just doesn't get a chance to race. Yeah, he'd dominate me 9 times out of 10. So there's plenty of drivers in that top 25 who I will go toe to toe with, and they'll beat me either more often than not, or, it's a 50-50 bet each way. So to finish in P5 really shows the sort of approach that I took this season more than anything else. 41 races in the season. If I was racing normally, it'd be double that probably, potentially. And you can see the guys who've done the same in Luqueta and Rodriguez. They haven't raced many, and that's how you maximise your points. Yes, you got to be quick. Yes, you got to do well, but you can only race 4 races to get the right points typically, except if you're Christian Perez, you can do double that and still go well. Anyway, look, that's the end of the season for us. Really pleased to have reached those goals. Would I have liked one more step? Yes, I would have, but can't be unhappy with that. Next season, I think it'll be different. I plan to obviously not do that again. I want to race more. I want to enjoy the racing in a different kind of way. I plan to probably stream live a bit more as well. So we'll see how that goes. And just get in there and have some fun. When Christian Perez says to me, it's no fun winning the championship because you can only race this kind of way, this kind of 4 races a week kind of thing, he's absolutely right, and I shan't be doing it again. Too much of a grind, not enough fun. Still, that's the world in which we live in. But thank you, folks, for coming on this journey, this enduring journey with us. It's been fun. Most weeks it's been fun. Some weeks less so. But certainly we got there in the end, and that part of it was good. So, but for now, folks, I guess that might do us. Make sure you check us out on the YouTube channel, which is where hopefully you found this one. Or hang on, let me just find the thing there. There it is. Check us out on Top Split on YouTube. That's where we have all the SNL and MNL and all those sorts of things, as well as our own races here. Top Split TV on Twitch, of course, is where you'll find us Sunday nights, 9:15 p.m. Australian Eastern Time, for the greatest Skippy racing around Sunday night lights. The Discord community is where you'll find us as well. All the SNL latest and greatest results, all those kinds of things. And then if you're so inclined, check us out on Twitter. We post when we're going live and things like that. And hopefully we'll do that a bit more in the season to come. But otherwise, folks, thank you again for joining us throughout this season. I've really appreciated those who've poked their faces in, hit like, subscribe, and commented and all those sorts of things. That helps bumps us up and get these great skippies in the thoughts and hearts and minds of ours around us, and gets more people out there on track, hopefully. Anyway, folks, until next time, I'm Alex McKellar, and I will say ciao for now.